person just pulled out in front of me. Why did you pull out in front of me just immediately to turn left? So, we are going to go get some coffee before we start this video. I've been getting coffee from McDonald's a whole bunch recently, but I think I'm gonna treat myself a little bit today. Got my coffee, got my car, all is good. Now let's head to our designated filming location as of late. Wow, I can't even get through one sentence without messing up. It's so funny because not that long ago, I didn't even like coffee, and then I just kind of forced myself to try it again, and then I ended up liking it, and now here I am getting a coffee practically every single day. So basically now I'm a basic white girl. So as the title says, the 350Z is gone. Let's talk about that. This is honestly not a video that I ever thought I was going to make because from the very beginning, I told people I was probably going to keep that car as long as I possibly could, which for me was hopefully going to be basically forever. Well, things change, plans change, you know how it goes. Here we are. Yes, I sold the car back in, I believe it was March or April of 2020. So first things first, I think we'll get into why I sold the car and then the process of selling it and what has happened with it since being sold. So first of all, why I sold the car. Well, if it was a perfect world, I wouldn't have sold the car. But after having gotten the WRX, interestingly for me, I remember a video from quite a few years ago from Jason from Engineering Explained, where he was describing why he was selling his 2014 STI, and basically his reasonings came down to he wanted a car that was good at everything, got good gas mileage, could just be a, you know, a low maintenance daily driver, and then wanted to have a separate car that was fun and lightweight and basically purpose built for that. And that's interesting because my entire philosophy when I bought my 350Z was I thought for sure that is exactly what I wanted too. Well, then I got my WRX and I realized that when I was driving around my Jetta, I mean, I loved my Jetta, it was a really good car, but most of the time I just chose to drive my 350Z, even if it was just to the bank or just into town to get a drink or something, because I enjoyed driving it more. And even though I owned my Jetta for longer than I owned my 350Z, all in all, I ended up putting twice as many miles on my 350Z as I did my Jetta, which is funny because I only drove my 350Z during the summer. But once I got my WRX, honestly, my fun car side was kind of filled by that, and I was driving that most of the time, and I enjoyed driving that. And at that point, I wasn't driving the 350Z very much, and even though I still had plans for it, and I still drove it from time to time, and I wanted to keep it, but honestly, it came down to, I was engaged at this point. I was going to be buying some pretty decent sized purchases for my business, which was my mowing business, and I had to buy things like a new zero-turn mower, I was buying a bigger trailer, and things like that, and just basically replacing a lot of things. And I didn't have the money out of pocket to buy those things, and at that point, honestly, I really did not need my 350Z. So I made what I felt like was the best mature adult decision that I could at the time. I sold that car. I ended up putting a few things on the WRX with that money. I bought the things that I needed for my business, and I ended up saving a little bit of the money that I had left over as well. So those are basically the reasons why I love that car. You guys know I love that car just from watching the videos. It's very clear. I didn't want to get rid of it, and I'm a very sentimental person, and for me that was my first fun car. I really liked it. I didn't want to get rid of it, but ultimately what it came down to is that was the best decision that I could make at that time, and I did have my WRX at that point. I do love my WRX. It's my favorite car that I've ever owned, even over the 350Z, even though I loved the 350Z and it was basically my dream car at the time. But now let's get into the actual process of selling it, because that was a journey and a half, let me just say. So, first of all, any of you guys who have ever sold something on Facebook Marketplace, because it's so easy to message someone, you just push a button, you know you get 8 billion replies from people that are never ever going to be interested in the car, but are just bored and figure they'll contact you for no reason. Probably half the people that contacted me said, "Is this still available?" I responded with yes, and they said, okay, thanks, or didn't reply at all after that. Which is just frustrating when you're trying to sell something and you put serious inquiries only and it does not matter. Beyond that, I had so many people contact me that just gave me stupid, ridiculous lowball offers. It was up for $5,500 at first, which the car did have 167,000 miles, I think, by the time I sold it, which is high miles, but I did know the car was in really good mechanical condition. It ran perfectly, shifted perfectly. The clutch was good, which honestly, there was one guy that showed up. I told him that the clutch catches at like the very top, and then his response was, oh, so it's probably going out then. And that was a little annoying because I would have disclosed if it was going out. I know he was just trying to be cautious, but if you look up any review from like when the 350Z first came out, they all said the clutch catches really high even then. That's just kind of how those cars are. Trust me, I had done a burnout or two in the car. The clutch catches perfectly fine. But it did have a few paint issues. Obviously the carbon fiber hood, you guys saw it on it, was not very nice. But all in all, the car was in fantastic condition. It had a basically brand new big brake kit on it. It had nice wheels and tires on it. Had nice headlights, front bumper and everything. Obviously, I know that modifications to a car don't really up its value, but the point is, the car was very solid, no rust. It was originally from Texas. Other than cosmetic issues, the car was in very good condition. So $5,500 for that car at the current market at the time was already a pretty solid price. I was not pricing it at a point where I was just going to basically keep it for the long haul and make sure I could make as much money as possible. I was trying to price it fairly. Well, when it was still up for $5,500, I had a guy contact me that literally offered me, in his words, $2,700 cash. And I'm like, okay, first of all, yeah, you're gonna give me cash. I'm not gonna accept like Bitcoin from you or something. That's not what I'm doing here. Second of all, that's literally half of the asking price. I get some people just want to get rid of something. That was obviously not me because I put in the ad how much I cared about the car and how much I tried to take care of it when I owned it and all these different things. So clearly I wasn't just going to sell it for peanuts. That was not the only stupid offer I got. I had plenty of people contact me. I had several people contact me just to buy the wheels. One of them then, when I told him no, I couldn't because he tried to buy the wheels off me and give him his stock wheels, which were, I think, 18s. And I said, I don't think those are going to clear the brakes. And he said, my car is factory Brembos, it should. And I said, okay, my brakes are quite a bit bigger than the factory Brembos. He then insulted me by telling me that I was gay. So, you know, very mature people trying to buy my car. Eventually, luckily I stuck out. I didn't sell it to anyone who was dumb. But the most annoying thing about selling it of all, the biggest annoyance, was the guy who said the thing about the clutch catching. He had a 2014 Subaru WRX that was modified very nicely, and that becomes important later on. And he showed up with, I think, a family member. I think the car was actually for the family member. But he was the one who had contacted me and everything. He was the one who talked to me. I don't think his family member really spoke English particularly well, which is fine. They came, test drove the car, negotiated with me, said they would give me $4,800 when it was listed for $55. I said $5,000 is really my bottom dollar. They were like, we're at $48, and I was like, okay. And I shouldn't have even done this, first of all, because $5,000 was already a good deal for the car. I was like, would you do $49? And they said no. And I'm like, dude, come on. It's $100. The car's already a good deal. And then they're basically ready to walk away. My dad's like, you know, trying to help me sell the car. He's like, well, would you take 48? I'm like, I really don't want to. And then the guy drops the bombshell. Oh, well, we won't even have the money till like mid-February. And this was early January at this point. My dad just looks at them and goes, you don't even have the money to buy the car? And then they're like, yeah. And my dad's like, okay. And then they proceeded to leave. So, massively wasted our time at that point. Never said they just wanted to come and look at it. They acted like they were very interested in buying it. And then they never contacted me again. But the icing on the cake is, I saw his car for sale later on Facebook Marketplace. And at the bottom of the ad it said, don't waste my time. I think you can see why that was a little bit frustrating. But eventually, after sticking it out and not selling it to anyone who is going to rip me off or treat it like crap, because let me just say, I saw a couple people who tried to buy the car, said they always wanted one, and their background on their Facebook page was like a slam to the ground 350Z with like 8 degrees of camber. That made me a little weary, because I did not want that to happen to my car. Well, I stuck it out. I ended up selling it to a really awesome guy named Chris. He was a little bit older than a lot of the other guys that bought it. Obviously, a lot of people that were looking at it were my age. He said that he'd been looking for one for a while. He really wanted it for him and his son, and that he really liked the car. He came and looked at it, and he ended up giving me the full asking price, which I appreciated, and so happy with where it ended up going instead of basically just going to someone who I knew was going to treat it like utter crap. Because one of those people where I don't really care if it's an inanimate object, I just like have to personify it for no apparent reason. So yeah, the car is sold. Luckily, it went to someone who I know will take good care of it, and that was the most important thing to me. And even though at that point I sold the car, I am looking at getting a project in the future again. So next video that I will be filming, which will be filmed right now, so you see me wearing the same clothes in that video, it's because it was 35 seconds later. But yeah, if you guys did enjoy this video, I hope you're not too disappointed about the 350Z not being part of the channel anymore. I do have a lot more content about cars that's coming soon. Hopefully you guys are open-minded about that and about different builds in the future. If it comes to it, I would love to do all kinds of different stuff, so please stick around. And if you did enjoy this video, please make sure to leave a like. And if you really liked it, even subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell so you can be notified about all new uploads if you would like. No pressure here. Anyway guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a good one. Bye-bye 350Z with your squeaky brakes.